The world of anime and manga has evolved into a state most fans would have never imagined it could ever reach. Watching anime used to get you wedgies and being shoved into lockers 10 to 20 years ago. The worst thing that can happen nowadays is someone calling a favorite show trash on Twitter, where stories and words can become influential and monumental pieces of media that leave impact outside of the sphere. It becomes something that is worthy of being called a masterpiece. Is this the next big thing? What will be the next big shonen anime? Who is the wife of this season? All this stuff is great, and swear to God, I am not complaining whatsoever. But to keep up with everything in the densely populated world of anime can not only feel draining, but like a chore. Especially if you can't find it in yourself to enjoy it. Blink, and suddenly you miss half a season's worth of lore, inside jokes, and references. With all that in mind, I'm here making a review video of new manga I found. And as of while I'm sitting writing the script, there's a chance it's getting an anime adaptation soon. Quite the ironic tale, isn't it? YoitzSpitz is not the first, not the second, but the third serialized manga that Kenta Shinohara has published, with the first two also having their own anime adaptations. With a solid foundation in manga while also having expertise in translating the work into televised form, what is the author going to attempt this time? In the world of YoitzSpitz, we are quickly introduced to the main male protagonist, Morihito Otogi the Ogre. Yes, that is an ogre. What? What do you mean he doesn't look like an ogre? He is 100% ogre. What? Is he not your stereotypical ogre? Not enough layers?
Ogres are like onions.
Do all ogres have to look the same? Ah, wow. That seems quite ogophobic to me, just saying. Being a descendant of ogres, Morihito is trained in the way of ogre kung fu, possessing powerful techniques and tremendous strength. Being very mature and adult-like for his age, he takes care of his responsibilities with utmost importance and seriousness. Of course, while it's still obvious that he is the age he is, the author actually struck the balance quite well here. Suddenly, Morihito's world is thrown into chaos when it was decided that he would be reunited with his childhood friend, Nico Wakatsuki, a witch with incredible potential and power, a talent that's quite literally born once every 1,000 years. Having to separate as children in order for her to complete her training, a prophecy foretold her life being in danger. As such, Morihito would be trusted to become a familiar in order to protect Nico. Unfortunately, protecting her does not come easy. Nico's proficiency and ability to cast spells is not the issue here. All that time training has definitely paid off. Rather, it is her personality. A bright, cheery, sociable person that likes to be a helper and problem solver. Not to mention, some of the spells she casts have quite the serious side effects. Let's say you want to turn a person lighter so they're easy to carry. The obvious side effect is that later they become heavier. Well, if only it was that simple. Yeah, it makes a person heavier later, but if you want to make a person lighter, well, you just fucked with their entire personality, as the character itself is now lighter. Yep, that's the type of magic she casts. Oh yeah, she also has a crush on Morihito, so things can only get better from here on out as she tries to get his attention. Despite having the foundation and outline for a nail-biting, high-intensity, sweat-inducing fighting manga, the series actually goes in quite a different direction. More than anything, at its core, YoitzSpitz is a gag manga. From pop culture references, to parodies, to a motherfucking JoJo reference! The setup for its comedy is actually something I don't think I've seen before, and is quite unique, at least in my opinion. To describe a somewhat early chapter, one of the characters that is later introduced is doing boring, mundane, and repetitive work. So they ask Nico to cast a spell on them so they can do work 10 times faster. Being the nice girl she is, she obliges, and the spell goes off without a hitch. Unfortunately, they did not think things through. Not even close. This poor victim is the only one moving 10 times faster. And unfortunately, Einstein said time is relative.
Right?
As such, he is stuck receiving time 10 times faster while everything is moving 10 times slower. A spell that lasts 3 days in the real world ends up being 30 days in the real world of sped time. You need to eat 10 times more food. You can't wait for your clothes to wash or dry, so you need to have someone go out and buy more clothes. Sound is either too slow or sped up to perceive, so if someone decides to talk, neither side can understand each other. And when the spell finally runs out, this poor motherfucker experiences the whiplash of a lifetime. God bless his soul. That describes the general flow of your average chapter. To set up its own independent story arc, resolve itself within its own chapter or the next one if necessary, and tie up all necessary knots in the conclusion. In other words, it is a adventure of the week kind of series, which I think is something that is severely being slept on in the world of manga and anime. Sure, there may be other series that do this, but the execution doesn't always land or stick out. The last time a good manga or anime went with this type of storytelling, at least in my recent memory, was motherfucking JoJo's!
Oh my god!
Back in Stardust Crusaders, it would introduce a villain, defeat them, and move on to slowly inch towards the final goal. You could watch almost any episode within Stardust Crusaders, not needing to know anything about the series beforehand or even within its own season, and figure out enough to enjoy the episode. Who the good guys are, who is the villain, what's the power system, what they can do, and see it all wrapped up at the end of the episode. The same thing can be said for Witch Watch. You could read 10 to 15 chapters on a 2-month-long business trip, come back and start reading again right where you left off, because you don't need to go back and reread the previous 20 to 25 chapters to remember what happened in order to enjoy the series. And it's not like it stalls the existing and main story unnecessarily long to the point where there's essentially no progress. You can have a random chapter where something small happens, or it would plant a seed for the future, or you can have a couple of back-to-back chapters of heavy development. With all things said and done, it goes back to your regularly scheduled funny moments montage.
Oh, what the fuckity fuck?
You don't see me. You don't see me.
What the fuck? No!
In this new anime culture where there are incredibly complex stories with heavy history and worlds that just pull you in, it can feel as if you have to invest a lot to keep up with it sometimes. It would not be an issue if it was just one at a time, but if there are multiple shows that do this airing at the same time, you can feel as if you have to pick and choose and then write it through. You don't like where it is going? Well, too bad. Unfortunately, you either stick with it or it's time to drop it as you now decide what to replace it with. Witch Watch doesn't feel like that, and it is why I enjoy the series. It doesn't need complex stories. It just needs one to get the job done. It doesn't want to track the readers into its own fictionalized world it created, but definitely tries to keep their attention. It doesn't revolutionize comedy, as even though I never laughed at any of the jokes or punchlines, I was at least able to appreciate it. The author knows what they want, what they don't want, what the series is, and what they're trying to avoid it turning into. I'm not going to say everybody is going to end up liking Witch Watch, because it is definitely not for everyone. It won't be manga of the year, but it is one someone can enjoy whenever they want to. Witch Watch is just a good, casual read, and I'm content with saying that's enough for me. Honestly, I can't say whether you enjoy Witch Watch based on if you liked what I just said, or how I even described it. You can hate this video, hate me, hate the sound of my voice, with my small YouTube production quality. When you start reading it, you end up having a good time. Or you could have enjoyed your stay here, listening to me talk, but even after being convinced and interested that this isn't for you, and that's okay as well. But I'll tell you what is not okay. What is not okay is for you to watch this entire video up to here and not liking, describing, or watching some of my other videos. Because, I mean, you're already here for long haul anyways, man. Or just, just do the rest of the bit. You're contractually obligated at this point. It's not me. I didn't make the rules. I know it's my channel, but I don't make the rules here. Check out Witch Watch. It's on Viz. serialized in English, so you can catch up there. And until next time, I'm gonna go do something else.